The Magic School Bus, Voyage to the Volcano. Introduction. Hi, my name is Dorothy Ann, DA for short. I'm one of the kids in Ms. Frizzle's class. You've probably heard of Ms. Frizzle. Sometimes we just call her the Frizz. She is a terrific teacher, but a little strange. Ms. Frizzle loves science and will do anything to teach us about it. That's why the magic school bus comes in handy. Believe me, it's not called magic for nothing. Once we climb on board, anything can happen. We can usually tell when a magic school bus trip is coming up. How? We just look at what Ms. Frizzle is wearing. One day, the Frizz came into class wearing an orange dress with erupting volcanoes all over it. Since we were studying volcanoes, I didn't get suspicious right away. But it didn't take long for Ms. Frizzle to find an excuse to take a field trip. And before we knew it, we were piling on board the magic school bus to go on a mysterious trip to the land of volcanoes. Let me tell you what happened when the magic school bus got caught in a hot spot in the Ring of Fire. Chapter 1. Dorothy Ann, Tim, are your teams ready for the next question? Ms. Frizzle asked. We were in the middle of a class quiz bowl about volcanoes. My team was competing against Tim's team, and the competition was as hot as molten lava. I shot a quick glance at my quiz bowl teammates, Carlos, Phoebe, and Ralphie. They all gave me a thumbs up. Ready, Ms. Frizzle, I said confidently. Ready, Ms. Frizzle, Tim said just as confidently. Ms. Frizzle reached her hand into the bowl full of questions she had prepared for the Volcano Quiz Bowl. As she pulled one out, I looked at the scoreboard. Dorothy Ann's team, 7 points. Tim's team, 7 points. Unbelievable! I knew everything there was to know about volcanoes. I had crammed my head full of facts and figures for weeks. I had drilled Carlos, Phoebe, and Ralphie about everything we knew. But somehow, Tim and his team had kept up with us. My finger was itching to press the buzzer as Ms. Frizzle unfolded the question and read it. The Frizz cleared her throat. What big volcano erupted in the United States in 1980? Blah. My buzzer was the first to go off. Dorothy Ann, what's your answer? The Frizz said. Mount St. Helens erupted in 1980 in Washington State, I said. According to my research, the eruption blew the top right off the mountain. Mount St. Helens Blows Its Top by D.A. When Mount St. Helens blew its top, it sent hot ash and glowing gas 12 miles, 19 kilometers into the air. The eruption lasted for 9 hours and was heard more than 200 miles, 322 kilometers away. Before it blew up, Mount St. Helens was a popular vacation spot. It hadn't erupted since 1857. Correct, the Frizz said. That makes the score 8-7 with Dorothy Ann's team in the lead. Yes, I gave Phoebe a high five. Hands on your buzzers, teams, Ms. Frizzle said. Here's the next question. As we waited for the Frizz to read out the next question, I quickly ran through the names of the top 10 volcanic eruptions in the history of the world, just in case. This is a tough one, Ms. Frizzle said. Where is the farthest away that volcanoes have been found? My mind drew a blank. In desperation, I looked at Phoebe, Carlos, and Ralphie. Their faces were blanks too. Blah. Tim's buzzer sounded off like a fire alarm. Tim, Ms. Frizzle said, what is your answer? There are volcanoes in outer space, Tim said with a smile. That's as far from us as you can get. Out of this world, Tim, Ms. Frizzle said. Your team gets another point. The score stands at 8-8. Wow, Tim, I said with admiration. How did you know that? I read about it once in a science fiction story, Tim said, and I'm writing a report on it. Out of This World Eruptions by Tim. Earth isn't the only planet with volcanoes. Scientists believe that Venus still has active volcanoes, and one of Jupiter's moons, Io, has 8 volcanoes. One theory is that Jupiter's rings are actually made up of dust from Io's volcanoes. Next question, the Frizz announced. I looked down the row of my teammates. Carlos was missing. How had he managed to sneak away? And where was he? We found out a second later. There was a funny bubbling noise from the back of the room. We all looked over to where Arnold's model volcano stood. Something red was starting to flow from its top. My volcano! Arnold screamed. It's erupting! The volcano began to spit out red liquid all over the room. Carlos suddenly stood up from behind the model. His face was covered with splotches of fake lava. Carlos, did you pour vinegar into my volcano? Arnold demanded. Is that what this is? Carlos asked, holding up a plastic bottle. Oh no, Miss Frizzle said. We've got to get that thing out of here before it blows its top all over the room. The Frizz rushed to pick up the model volcano that had lava flowing down its sides and onto the floor. She carried it out the classroom door and set it on the ground outside. Some lava flowed out onto the Frizz, but it blended right in with the orange lava bursting out of the volcanoes on her dress. Miss Frizzle came back inside and we all rushed to the window to watch the volcanic action. It looks just like a real volcano, Phoebe said, but I wanted to make it explode, Arnold said with a sniffle. Why don't you tell us how your model works, Miss Frizzle said, and later you can make it erupt again. Ready, set, blow by Arnold. Just follow these simple steps to make your own model volcano. 1. Put about 4 tablespoons of baking soda in a bottle. You can put the bottle inside a model volcano made of modeling clay or paper mache. 2. Add a few squirts of dishwashing liquid and several drops of red food coloring. 3. Pour enough vinegar into the bottle to cover its contents. 4. Watch your homemade volcano blow its top. Ms. Frizzle, can we get back to the quiz bowl? Tim asked. I rushed to my seat and put my hand over the buzzer. I'm ready, I announced. Everyone else took his or her seat, and the Frizz dipped into the quiz bowl for another question. What state is made up entirely of volcanoes? Ms. Frizzle asked. Just as I was ready to push down on my buzzer, I saw Carlos's hand reach over and press it. What? Carlos, what's the answer? Miss Frizzle asked. That would be a state of disaster, Carlos said, and then laughed wildly at his own joke. Nice try, Carlos, but jokes don't count in a quiz bowl, Miss Frizzle said with a grin. Tim, it's your team's turn to try to answer the question. Keisha raised her hand to answer. The state made up entirely of volcanoes is the 50th state to join the Union, beautiful Hawaii. A State of Volcanoes by Keisha. The Hawaiian Islands were formed over a hot spot in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Underwater volcanoes erupted from the hot spot and grew high enough to form islands. At first, there was only one Hawaiian island, but over many millions of years, the entire chain of islands was formed. Right you are, Ms. Frizzle said with a smile. Hawaii is a hot spot for volcanoes. I was feeling a little hot myself. The score was now 9-8 in favor of Tim's team. Whichever team got to 10 first was the winner. I wiped my hand across my sweating forehead and got ready for the next question. Ms. Frizz pulled the question out of the bowl. What do you call lava when it's still inside a volcano? From Magma to Lava by D.A. The Earth's interior is much hotter than the surface, so hot that in some places it melts rocks. This melted rock becomes a thick, gooey, pasty substance called magma. When magma erupts from a volcano and hits the air, it becomes lava. Lava is a red-hot liquid that later cools and becomes solid rock. It only took me 3 seconds to hit that buzzer. Blah! DA, what is your answer, the Frizz asked. Magma, I said loudly and clearly. While it's still inside a volcano, lava is called magma. Score 1 for Dorothy Ann's team, Miss Frizzle said. It looks like it's all tied up again at 9-9. And here's to the tiebreaker question. Tim and I eyed each other across the room. We waited as the Frizz pulled out the question and read it. What is the most active volcano on the Earth today, Miss Frizzle asked. The room was filled with dead silence. I fiddled with my pencil as I racked my brain for the answer. I looked at Carlos, Phoebe, and Ralphie. They just shrugged their shoulders, and I looked at Tim. He was scratching his head. Miss Frizzle had stumped all of us. Miss Frizzle got up and wiped a blob of red lava off her dress. Then she reached over and picked up Liz off her desk. Liz, I think it's time for a field trip. Do you want to go see a volcano erupt? Liz let out a squeak, and the rest of us, except Arnold of course, erupted into a cheer. I knew I should have stayed home today, Arnold said with a sigh. Follow me, the Frizz said as she headed towards the door. We're going on a mystery trip to the most active volcano on Earth, and the first team to figure out where we're going wins the quiz bowl. Tim and I grabbed our buzzers. Then we sprinted neck and neck to the magic school bus. We both wanted the best view out the window of the bus. I knew right then that this wasn't going to be any ordinary field trip. It was going to be a duel of the brains and brawn, and may the best kid win. I reached the door of the magic school bus first, ran up the steps, and slid into the window seat right behind Miss Frizzle. I was ready to roll.
Chapter 2. Tim slid into the seat beside me. Then he leaned forward to check out the magic school bus's instrument panel. Miss Frizzle was busy fiddling with the dials as the rest of the kids boarded the bus. Okay, kids, the Frizz announced. Prepare for takeoff. We're in for a long flight. A long flight, Tim said. Does that mean we're crossing an ocean? That's correct, Tim, Miss Frizzle said. So that rules out Mount St. Helens, I said. And Paracuten in Mexico, Tim added. Right, I said, impressed that Tim knew that. I began to worry that I might be slipping as the science whiz of Miss Frizzle's class. I made up my mind right then and there to read 5 more encyclopedia entries a day. Miss Frizzle started up the magic school bus and rolled out of the parking lot. When she pressed the red button with a jet on it, I knew it wouldn't be long before we were airborne. Outside my window, I saw the magic school bus sprout wings. The jet engines started to roar, and soon we were streaking down the runway, and lifting off. Woohoo! Carlos yelled. We're out of here. Please tell us where we're going, Ms. Frizzle, Arnold pleaded. I don't like surprises. Don't worry, Arnold, the Frizz said. You'll love this surprise. Tim glanced at me with a puzzled look on his face. Where could we be going that Arnold would like? Arnold didn't like any surprises. Maybe we're going someplace cool, Tim said. Or someplace hot, I added. Oh no, Tim said. She wouldn't take us inside a volcano, would she? We both stared at the back of the Frizz's head in front of us. Her curly red hair was standing on end with excitement. Who knew what we were in for? Soon, the magic school jet had gained enough altitude to be up above the clouds. Every few minutes, Tim and I looked out the window to see if we could tell where we were going, but all we could see were fluffy white clouds. Those clouds must have looked like sheep because I fell asleep while counting them. I don't know how long I was sleeping, but I woke up with a start when Keisha started to shriek. Look, she yelled, down below us. It's Hawaii. I was still half asleep, but I knew I had to grab for my buzzer. I found it just in time. Blah, blah. Tim's buzzer went off at exactly the same time as mine. Kilauea, we both yelled. Correct, Ms. Frizzle said with a giggle. You both came up with the right answer. Kilauea, on the big island of Hawaii, is the most active volcano in the world, and it looks like we still need a tiebreaker in the quiz bowl. Tim and I looked at each other. This was getting tough. Listen up, the Frizz said. Here's the next tiebreaker question. What is the Hawaiian name for smooth, flat lava? I searched every corner of my brain, and I came up with nothing. I looked over at Tim. He looked as clueless as I did. Carlos, do you know the answer to that? I asked hopefully. Carlos said, smooth and flat. Could it be a sidewalk? I'm afraid not, Carlos, the Frizz said with a smile. Looks like all of you have something to learn while we're in Hawaii. Down below us, the islands of Hawaii looked like green jigsaw puzzle pieces on the blue ocean. Carlos began to count them.
How many Hawaiian islands? By Carlos. Hawaii is made up of about 132 islands, making a chain about 2,500 miles, 4,023 kilometers long. There are 8 main islands, and most people live on 7 of these 8 islands. Hawaiian Islands: Hawaii, Maui, Kahulawe, Lanai, Molokai, Oahu, Kauai, Niihau. Did all those islands really start out as volcanoes? Phoebe asked. But for once, Ms. Frizzle was too busy to answer her. She seemed to be having a problem with the magic school jet. I saw her press the landing gear button over and over again. It wasn't working. Kids, the Frizz said in a nervous voice, we're experiencing some technical difficulties. The landing gear seems to be stuck. That means we have to prepare for an emergency landing. The Frizz said that last part in a voice that meant business. Life preservers popped out of the overhead compartments into our laps. We jumped up and strapped them on. Okay, the Frizz announced. This is a new trick for the magic school bus, but I think it will work out okay. You think it will work out, Arnold yelled in a hysterical voice. Trust me, Arnold, the Frizz said, and grabbed hold of the sides of the raft. Tim and I looked at each other again. Raft? What raft? A second later, we found out. The magic school jet turned into a big yellow raft in midair. Soon we were falling down out of the sky, grabbing hold of the sides of the raft like our lives depended on it. And they did. I peeked over the side of the raft as we were flying down through the air. Below us was the blue water of the Pacific Ocean. It looked scary, but not as scary as green land would have looked. Hold on tight, the Frizz yelled. We're about to land. Now! Our yellow raft hit the top of a huge ocean wave. I could feel the spray of salt water on my face. Then I felt my stomach flop around like a fish. We were riding the wave in our raft like a gigantic surfboard. Awesome, Carlos yelled. Surf's up, Arnold screamed. The surf was up, all right. Our wave was... From the desk of Ms. Frizzle, surf's up. Surfing has been around for a long time. People in Hawaii were surfing before Christopher Columbus landed in the Americas in 1492. To catch a wave, a surfer lies face down on a surfboard and paddles out to where the waves begin. When a wave grows about 3 feet, 91 centimeters tall, the surfer stands up on the board. Then she rides the wave into the shore. At least 10 feet higher than the surface of the ocean in front of us, and we were coming into shore fast. All of a sudden, the big wave hit the bottom of the ocean floor close to the shore. A second later, we spilled out of the raft into the shallow water along the beach. The magic school raft floated up onto the sand nearby. Welcome to Hawaii, class, Ms. Frizzle said with a grin. Ms. Frizzle, Arnold said, I think we may have landed in outer space. There's something very weird about the sand. We all looked down at the sand under our feet. It was black. We stumbled out of the water onto the beach. The sand there was black too. I can tell you've never been to Hawaii before, Arnold, said Ms. Frizzle. The sand isn't weird at all. Hey, this would make a strange sandcastle, Carlo said, starting to dig in the sand. I know why the sand is black, Wanda said. It's all because of volcanoes. Wow, check out that surfer, dude, Carlo suddenly yelled, pointing toward the water. Black Beaches by Wanda. Islands with volcanoes like Hawaii and Iceland have beaches with black sand. Black sand is created when hot lava meets the cool ocean. The lava is shattered into small particles that make the sand. So why is the sand black? It is black because of all the dark minerals, like iron, that are in the lava. We looked out at the ocean and saw a surfer coming in on a big wave. He had on wild Hawaiian print shorts and was riding his surfboard like a pro. He rode the wave right onto the shore where we stood. Hey, he said with an amazed look on his face. Did you guys just fall out of the sky on a raft? Ms. Frizzle walked over to the big yellow raft and pulled the plug on its air supply. There was a sudden blast of air that made the black sand swirl up around the raft. We couldn't see a thing for a minute. Then the air cleared. Standing on the beach was the magic school bus. Ms. Frizzle, I presume, the surfer asked in surprise. The one and only, the Frizz said with a smile. I've heard all about you, the surfer said. My cousin who lives on the mainland used to be one of your students. I'm Jim Russell. I'm a volcanologist at Volcanoes National Park. Nice to meet you, Jim, the Frizz said, shaking his hand. You're a what? Arnold asked. I'm a volcanologist, Jim said. I study volcanoes. From Jim's volcanologist files, a hot job. A volcanologist is a scientist who studies volcanoes. On the job, a volcanologist collects lava, gas samples, and other data to try to predict when a new eruption might happen. A volcanologist gets into a lot of hot spots. You have to think fast to outsmart a volcano. Would you like to come with us to see Kilauea? I asked. I had a secret plan already. I would get Jim alone and ask him about the Hawaiian name for smooth, flat lava. Just then, Tim broke into our conversation. Hey, Jim, do you know the Hawaiian name for smooth, flat lava? Tim asked. The answer is somewhere in Volcanoes National Park, Jim said. That's all I will tell you. Can I hitch a ride in the magic school bus back to my house? I've got to pick up my volcanologist gear, and then we'll go see Kilauea. Excellent, we all yelled as we piled into the bus. The Frizz slipped behind the wheel. As she started the bus, its wheels spun up some black sand. Then we were off, ready to explore the red-hot heart of the most active volcano on Earth. Chapter 3. Jim sat next to me on the magic school bus after he picked up his volcanologist gear. He told me I could look through his pack. It was full of clothes and instruments. Hey, why do you have an astronaut suit in here? I asked. It's not exactly a spacesuit, Jim said, but it is made for some pretty alien conditions. When you're down inside a volcano, you never know what might happen. The temperature could heat up, or a poisonous gas could spurt out, or a chunk of lava could fly at you. That suit helps protect us. Whoa, Carlos suddenly yelled, pointing outside the window. I think I see some lava. Are we getting close to the volcano? You bet we are, Jim said. That lava you just saw is only a year old. It oozed right over a stand of trees that used to be here. How long has Kilauea been pumping out lava? Ralphie asked. This latest eruption started in 1983, when I was just a little kid, Jim said. I remember my mom and dad yelling at me to wake up and look at the sky. I ran outside and it looked like the sky was on fire. Kilauea was erupting, and it hasn't stopped since. From Jim's volcanologist files, Kilauea Fast Facts. Kilauea is the world's most active volcano. The Kilauea Volcano is in Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Kilauea's crater is 2.5 miles, 4 kilometers long, 2 miles, 3.2 kilometers wide, and 400 feet, 122 meters deep. Kilauea last began erupting in 1983 and continues to burn today. It is the longest-lived eruption in Hawaiian volcano history. This particular eruption is called Pua'u. Every minute, 350,000 to 8 million gallons, 1,325,000 to 30,280,000 liters of molten rock ooze from Kilauea. That's enough molten rock to cover all 63 square miles, 163 square kilometers of Washington, D.C. in just 5 days. Kilauea has set more than 16,000 acres, 64.8 square kilometers of lowland and rainforest on fire, destroying the habitats of several endangered species. Every day, the volcano spits out more than 2,500 tons of sulfur dioxide, enough gas to fill 100 blimps. But how can we visit it if it's erupting? Arnold asked. Won't we get covered in lava? Not if you're careful and obey the signs, Jim said. Kilauea is a slow and steady kind of volcano. A few minutes later, we passed the entrance to Volcanoes National Park. Compared to most national parks, it's pretty wild. It may not have bears and deer, but it does have real live volcanoes. Ms. Frizzle, Jim asked, could you drop me off at the park headquarters? I'm going to meet up with another volcanologist. We're taking measurements of the air quality inside the Kilauea crater today. You're going inside a volcano crater? I asked. Isn't that kind of dangerous? Not usually, Jim said with a smile, and I'll have on my spacesuit. We all yelled goodbye to Jim. Then the magic school bus chugged off along the Crater Rim Drive, one of the top sites in Volcanoes National Park. Our first stop was Sulphur Banks. We piled off the bus to check it out. Wait a minute, do you smell something funny? Keisha asked. Yuck, Arnold said. It smells like rotten eggs. Remember when we brought in eggs for our dinosaur project and forgot them over the weekend? That stunk. I looked over at Arnold. He was turning kind of green. According to my research, I said, the smell of rotten eggs is caused by the sulfur gas they release. And this is called sulfur banks. Does that mean the volcano is full of rotten eggs? Phoebe asked. No, it's just that rotten eggs and volcanoes both release sulfur gas, Ms. Frizzle explained. But it smells just as bad. From the desk of Ms. Frizzle, smelly sulfur, rotten eggs in Kilauea. Volcanic gas contains sulfur that eventually cools and turns into crystals. These spiky sulfur crystals can sometimes be seen close to volcanic vents. When water vapor condenses around them, they can really smell. The smell comes from the rotten egg odor of sulfur. I guess Arnold couldn't take it anymore. Last one in the bus is a rotten egg, he yelled, and we all made a run for it. Ms. Frizzle started up the bus and announced, "Next stop, Thurston Lava Tube." "Wow, I wish I had brought my skateboard," Carlos said. "How tubular would it be to ride a lava tube?" The bus pulled up beside the sign for lava tube. We all crowded around to read it. Ralphie had done his report on lava tubes, so he helped explain it. I wanted to be the first to explore the lava tube, so I made a run for the entrance. It was kind of spooky inside. I could see where the fiery lava had rushed through, and there were lava icicles dripping from the ceiling. "Look out, DA," Carlos screamed behind me. "Some lava is coming through again." I ran through the lava tube like my life depended on it. I could almost feel the hot lava rushing in behind me. I made it out just in time. Only problem was, Carlos had pulled one of his practical jokes on me. He came walking out of the lava tube with a big grin on his face. "Gee, DA, I didn't really think you'd fall for that," he said. "Do you really think I believed you?" I said, trying to sound cool. "I was just practicing my sprinting." What is a lava tube? By Ralphie. What is a lava tube? It's a big empty tube formed when a layer of lava cools and hardens while hot lava is still flowing underneath it. The hardened lava forms a roof over the tube of hot lava. As the level of flowing lava in the tube starts to drop, hot lava drips off the roof, creating formations that look like lava icicles. When the lava inside the tube stops flowing, a big empty tube is left, like the Thurston lava tube. Just then, I spied a sign not far away. It was sitting right in the middle of a lava field, and that lava looked smooth and flat. I glanced over at Tim. He had just caught sight of the same sign. I took off like a streak of lightning toward it, pulling my buzzer out of my backpack as I ran. Soon, I heard footsteps pounding behind me. I threw a look over my shoulder. Tim was gaining on me. I grabbed the buzzer tighter in my hand and ran even faster. Tim raced up beside me just as I started to read. "Blot, blot, pahoho," we both screamed. Ms. Frizzle and the rest of the kids came running up. "Pa-what?" Ms. Frizzle asked. "Pahoho," we yelled again. "Correct," the Frizz said. "You're still in a wonderful tie." I couldn't believe it either. Would we ever break this tie? "Are you ready for the next tiebreaker question?" the Frizz asked, pulling a question out of her shirt pocket. From Jim's volcanologist files, 2 kinds of lava. The 2 types of lava get their names from Hawaiian words. A'a lava is pronounced a'a. It is thick, jagged, and fast-moving. It carries sharp chunks of lava called scoria. A flow of a'a lava flattens most things in its path and can be 220 feet, 67 meters thick. Pahoehoe lava is pronounced pahoehoe. It is more smooth on its surface and fluid and sometimes contains more gas than a'a lava. Pahoehoe lava forms ropey patterns as it cools. A flow of pahoehoe lava is thinner than a'a lava. Pahoehoe lava usually flows around trees and other obstacles and is only about 3 feet, 1 meter thick. "Oh, come on," Arnold interrupted, looking at me and Tim. "Can't we just call it a tie?" "No way," I yelled. "Way no way," Tim added. "Give us the next question, Ms. Frizzle," I said, still panting for breath. "What is the name of the new island being formed by underwater volcanic activity south of Hawaii?" No buzzers buzzed. I looked nervously at Tim. He looked as clueless as I did. "Ms. Frizzle, Who would know something like that? She said. Then he gave me a nervous glance. Not me, I admitted, but I'll find out. Hey, where's Carlos? Phoebe said. I think I saw him wandering off across the lava field. Just then, we all heard a scream echo across the lava field. Ouch! Ouch! Carlos was yelling. We all took off running to find out what was wrong. As we got closer to Carlos, we saw him trying to move his feet. The soles of his shoes had melted by walking across a hot lava surface. Now Carlos was back on the cooler lava, but his feet were stuck. Help! Carlos yelled when he saw us. I'm stuck!